Hello everyone, this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero again with a quick weather update specifically about the kind of messy commute we're going to have Friday morning. So it does look like we're going to have some snow, maybe a little bit of a wintry mess. So let's get started and I'll show you a couple of things that I'm looking at. So right now the National Weather Service has put out quite a bit of warnings here. All this blue, that is a winter weather advisory. And on the very eastern part of Long Island, that kind of pink color, a winter storm warning. Since that one's a little bit more intense, let's take a look at the winter storm warning. So winter storm warning, let me stay here, let me just read it. So this is basically saying 4 to 7 inches of snow and maybe around the freezing point for temperature, so it'll be definitely that wet kind of snow. So any of the area right around eastern Long Island will see a bit more intense kind of snow or wintry mess because the low pressure center is going to be a bit more east, so that's where the majority or bulk of the system will be. Once you get a little bit further west, and then when we take a look at Sullivan Ulster there, not really too much, just that little hazardous weather outlook, just giving like kind of a statement, not really any watches or warnings there, but the vast majority, even going into Connecticut, most of it is in a winter weather advisory. So a couple of things here I want to show you on the satellite and radar. We're seeing this is the system here, and it's slowly making its way northeast. This is what's going to start overnight tonight into tomorrow. On the national radar, we can see it looping here. It's a little bit widespread, and by the time we get closer to our area, it looks a little bit not impressive, but it's going to be a fairly lengthy event. So when we take a look at some of these forecast models here, I'm going to start with the GFS. This particular one is showing it's starting at about 1 a.m. That blue there, that means it is starting as snow. And when we roll a little bit more, so the morning commute, this is about 7 in the morning. It's showing the center of the low pressure. I mentioned this yesterday in the weather podcast, the 70-40 benchmark. It looks like that low pressure center is just about there, but it's not going to be as intense of a storm as like a giant nor'easter. So we're not really going to get too much in terms of snow totals, but it looks like most of this will be cold enough to be snow, but just barely. So it's going to be that wet, heavy snow, very nuisance-y kind of snow. Going through the rest of the afternoon, we're going to see it's still in the area and is tapering off a little bit. Just by the end of the afternoon, we're seeing maybe a little bit of some this lighter blue here. Just lingering snow showers, not really anything in terms of liquid. It's all going to be frozen because the high temperature tomorrow is in the low 30s to the mid 30s, very cold, a little bit breezy as well. These isobars, as I was mentioning yesterday, that is when they're very close together. That's where we're seeing very breezy conditions, so definitely be careful on any bridges with this wet, heavy snow and the strong winds blowing throughout the entire area. Again, this is one particular model called the GFS. Next one I'm going to show you is the NAM, and it's kind of showing the same story. This one is showing at about 2 in the morning. We're seeing just barely starting as a little bit of a mix. Then as I roll, we're going to see it turning into pretty much all snow, and the heaviest is showing right at about here. This is again right around that 7 in the morning commute, that darker blue, pretty intense. And if you notice, that low pressure center is pretty much exactly where the GFS was. So a lot of model agreement, which brings up confidence level a bit. And we're going to see as I roll through on the NAM, maybe a little bit of a mix at the end, but really for Long Island, it's going to be mostly snow, but again, that wet, heavy snow. And this is by the afternoon, just a few lingering snow showers there, and then it'll be starting to make its way out of the area. One other one I want to show you is called the RGEM model, and this is showing about the same thing. Starting at about that, I'd say 1 to 3 a.m., we're going to see it just barely starting right around the lower Hudson Valley, Orange, Rockland County. Then it's going to start to get a little bit more intense. And let me grab it. There we go. So by the morning commute, this is again about 7 in the morning. It's showing the low pressure, maybe a slight smidgen there to the west, but roughly in the same area. So again, a lot of model agreement there. And pretty much just all snow throughout most of the tri-state region there. But you can see that's the freezing line right here where I'm pointing. That is very close to our area, so all of these are agreeing on a very wet snowfall. And when we roll further out on the RGEM here by the afternoon, just tapering off, this is later on in the afternoon going into the evening, just some lingering flurries, maybe a little bit of mixing happening. Then that's pretty much it by the end of the day. So for tomorrow, just wanted to wrap up with a couple of things. Snow totals. We're not really seeing, oh, before we get to that, one more model. This one's called the HRRR, we call it, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh. This is one made by the National Weather Service, kind of an experimental one, but it's showing the same kind of idea. This is about the morning commute where we're going to see some of it starting, or I should say morning commute is where it's going to be most intense. Let me see if I can roll a little bit there. There we go. The only thing that's interesting with this one, it's showing this green, which does mean a little bit of rain or liquid precipitation. So this particular model is showing a little bit more mixing. Either way, it's going to be a very wet snow that could change back and forth a little bit from snow to rain. So definitely be careful in the morning. Allot yourself a little bit more time. Some schools look like they're starting to get on delays, 2-hour delays. We'll see what happens in the morning, so definitely pay attention to your local school district and keep an eye, and I will keep on the weather. I'll keep you guys updated as well, so be careful tomorrow morning. And with all this in the area, I do want to talk about some of the snow totals. Not that high. This particular one, this is also the HRRR High Resolution Rapid Refresh. If you look at the green there, that's showing right about here, 3 to 6 inches, maybe not really too much. Again, it's warm today, warm yesterday, so the ground is not really suitable to accept a lot of snow because it's been warm. So I don't think we're really gonna get too much in that upper 3 to 6 inch range unless you're in the higher elevations. Then it's been colder, so that accumulation can stack up a little bit more because the ground's already cold. This is the HRRR. The NAM, this is a bit more what I'm thinking. So the dark blue to the light blue. Right about here, dark blue is about 1, light blue is about 3. So I'm thinking again that 1 to 3 inches. The good thing though, this particular time of the year in March, the sun angle gets a little bit higher. So we're gonna get a bit more intense sunlight. So any kind of accumulating snow will pretty much melt quickly. It's not going to be as quickly because Saturday and Sunday look to be very cold days. But again, we've had this fluctuating and roller coaster temperatures. So I don't think the snow is going to stick too long. But it looks like we're going to get a little bit of snow out there. So we're seeing pretty much that too. 1 to 3 inches. Again, be very careful in the morning. Slippery conditions. If you are going to work, allot yourself a little bit more time. I'll keep you updated in the morning, but definitely be careful. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Another quick weather update for your Friday. Be safe, everyone. And if you do like the snow, this is not really the enjoyable snow. This is that nuisance snow. Have a good evening and stay safe tomorrow.